Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8th edition of Demo Day here at CircuitStream. I'm Lucy. I'm the Student Experience Coordinator, and I'm so happy to be here. Today, we have the brilliant work of the XR development with Unity and the interaction design and prototyping for XR at graduates. So you're going to be getting a mix of projects with different perspectives and foci, I guess. So it should be exciting. We're going to have our special guest, Usman Mir, one of our experts here at CircuitStream, also known as Aussie man, Aussie plane, jazz enthusiast and expert. So more of that to come. So I see we have some people tuning in already. So if you're there, I'd love to know your name, your location, and a fun fact if you have one. So as of right now, I am in Calgary, Alberta, here up in Canada. It's very cold. It's about -30, but it's warm here in the comfort of my home office. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I will give everyone a chance to just tune in and start introducing themselves. But in the meantime, I will get things started. All right, so what can we expect for today? I'm going to start us off with a brief introduction, tell you all who CircuitStream is, who we are, what we do, and kind of what where these students are coming from, the courses that they did, and kind of what the focus was in each one. Then we're going to dive into the student projects. So each student will talk a little bit about their project. We'll show you a video demo. Then we'll answer some audience questions, so make sure to get those ready. And then we will get some feedback from Aussie. So that should be great. Then Aussie's going to show an awesome project that he's working on. And then to wrap up, we're going to do a prize draw and a couple of announcements. All right, so we have the first comment from Spencer. Hey, Spencer, from Indianapolis. Very cool. We have some, I think all of our students here today might be from the US, maybe a couple from Canada. So very cool. Great to have you here. All right, so let me tell you all a little bit about who I am. My name is Luciana Fortes, as I mentioned, but you can call me Lucy. And I'm the Student Experience Coordinator at CircuitStream. Basically, I'm responsible for making sure that the students feel supported, from day one to day infinite, as a student, as an alum, because even after you finish your course with us, you still get support. You can still attend office hours. You can still engage with us. So we're just here for the students. And I've worked with education for over 7 years in university prep and student experience. And a fun fact about me is that both of my degrees are in dance, and that I've worked professionally in the opening ceremony of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Hey, Kelly, also from Calgary. Very nice. How are you holding up in this cold? Also cozy in the home office, or do you have to trek out into the blizzards? And then we also have our awesome Usman Mir, also known as Aussie. Aussie is a lead instructor and XR developer at CircuitStream. He has over 10 years of Unity experience, no big deal. Over 7 years of XR development. Oh my gosh. And also he plays the jazz band and the drums. I think when he comes on, you'll be able to see the instruments. Yeah, in his background. Should be cool. Kelly, brr, I know. I feel ya. Hey, Gary from South Carolina. Oh, very nice. I've been to North Carolina, to Durham, and to Chapel Hill. Oh, very lovely. It was great. Oh, Kelly, home office, no commuting. Perfect. Okay. So you should be pretty good, huh? Nice. Alrighty. Let's keep going. So who are we here at CircuitStream? Quick pause. By the way, with all you there in the chat, don't feel like I need to stop you. You can keep commenting, keep asking questions. Just consider this like a coffee chat, like an informal conversation, So looking forward to hearing your comments, reading your comments. So here at Circus Stream, we were founded in 2015 in order to provide, we identified an education gap in terms of providing training for XR professionals and enthusiasts. So we really dived into that space and have trained over 40,000 learners since then. We're also a Unity certified training and channel partner, and Unity partners are approved based on their expertise and focus on quality of education and commitment to providing the highest level of training possible. So really proud of being a partner with them. So as I mentioned, we are Unity certified. You can see some of our certifications right there. Our team is a global team of experts who are passionate about XR education. As you can see, we come from all over the world, just like our students. So we're pretty globally interconnected, and that's one of the really cool things about us. We've worked with a ton of companies and students. As you can see here, this is just a snapshot of some of the people we've worked with. You know, we have companies like Facebook, Hulu, and Apple, you know, a couple of universities on there. So we're really proud to have worked with these students. Alrighty, so what about the students here today? So we have a mix. It's the first time we're doing it this way, which is pretty cool. We have some students who graduated from the XR Development with Unity course, and we have some that did the interaction design and prototyping for XR. So these are two of our beginner flagship courses. They're both 10 weeks long with live sessions, and some of these students also do one-on-ones with some of the instructors on our team. Main difference here is that while they both deal with XR, the development with Unity course focus on, as the name suggests, development. So really using coding to, set up these experiences in XR. Whereas the interaction design and prototyping for XR course has no coding whatsoever. But students really think about the whys, right, behind of the choices, behind building the scene, the prototyping, why this game, how's the user experience going to go. So it'll be great to see these different perspectives in the projects that we'll have from the students. All right, so without further ado, maybe we can get a drum roll rolling. I don't know if you can hear that. Let's go on to the student projects. First, we have our lovely Brian Kremer with Drama Club. Drama Club is a multiplayer game where players select characters in the first act of A Christmas Carol play and act it out on stage. So you can see Brian's LinkedIn below if you'd like to connect with him. And he worked with these instructors, Indica and Cash, in developing this project. So let's get Brian up on the stage. Hey, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Lucy.
Awesome. So do you want to tell us about your project?
Certainly. Well, it is called Drama Club, and it was just a vehicle for me to learn about virtual reality.
Nice.
Yeah, I had been trying to develop skills over, I don't know, about the last 7-8 years, because I do see this technology as being very important in the future, and I'd like to be a part of it. So I started off with Blender and switched to Cinema 4D. Have been using the Creative Cloud for, I don't know, over a decade, I'm sure. And I started off with Unreal Engine, actually, and then more recently switched to Unity. But life is so busy, it's hard to find time. And I guess there's nothing like enrolling in a class to really force yourself to focus, right? And I do feel like this XR development class really motivated me to spend more time in learning about VR and Unity.
That's awesome, Brian. Do you want to tell us a bit about, where you're located and kind of a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, I'm in the Midwest. I live in Kansas City, suburban Kansas City, actually. I have a wife and 2 awesome kids. For my job, I'm a curriculum and training leader for a manufacturing organization here in town. My primary responsibilities there are administering and development for the Moodle learning management system, I develop and deliver classroom and online training. I do graphic design for marketing and sales, and I'm also on the product development team. I've got a Master of Science in Educational Leadership from Kansas State University, 18 years in corporate training. Yeah, fun fact, I play music, I play guitar. How about that?
Oh, band with
That's a
Ozzy.
fun fact. Yeah, it would be great to jam, Ozzy.
Yes. Let me see. Yeah, I can see you
So I'm
smile.
really looking forward to seeing the presentations from the other folks in the classes.
Very nice. Well, thanks, Brian. Looking forward to seeing yours as well. So, without further ado, let's show your brilliant project.
My name is Brian Kremer, and I'm presenting my individual project for the September 2021 XR development course. My project is called Drama Club. In Drama Club, you start at a login screen where you type your name in and connect to the Photon multiplayer network. Then you select a lobby, and at this point, it also hooks up Dissonance voice chat. In the lobby, there are a series of characters in a play. In this case, it's a Christmas Carol. To choose which character you want to play, just go over next to the character, reach out, and touch the character. Once everyone has chosen their character, they go to the theater. In the theater, each player has a UI that shows the dialogue for the play. Each player can adjust the dialogue, and only they can see the changes. They can scale the dialogue bigger or smaller, move it up and down and around the stage, and they can bring it closer to them or farther away. The idea is that the first character says their line, then advances the script, then the next character says their line, and they go through the play in that way. If no player has selected a character, then that character's line is played from a pre-recorded file. Players can give each other feedback on the job that they're doing by clicking the cubes that float around them. And that feedback is tallied up in the script UI, and eventually it will be on the scoreboard as well. While the feedback buttons work, I need to transition to make the cubes floating around the players work. And then the scoreboard UI needs to track the scores. There's some tweaks that need to be made to the player billboards. I need to allow for switching between the auto mode and the manual mode. And I'd love it if players could record their lines so that the play could run in auto mode with variations of different player voices. Although this app is structured as a play, and there may be potential there for learning lines and practicing, I also intend to branch this into a tool for remote training. Instead of a theater, it could be a classroom or a production floor, and instead of characters, it would be one or more trainers and one or more learners. I can foresee other branches of this project. Really, this app could be customized to support just about any experience with one or more presenters who rely on a script, and it leverages the advantages of connecting and participating remotely. I started this project on August 15th. It was just a few days before the C# class started, and I've been working on it for nearly 4 months now, throughout the entirety of the XR Dev class, and I've learned a ton so far, and I feel like I've still got a very long way to go, but I would like to thank Tyrell, who taught the C# class, Nakisa, who taught the XR Dev class, and Lovester, who guided us through the class project. My one-on-one instructor, Indica, who helped me transition the project as it was at the end of the C# class into VR. Cash, who was instrumental in setting up multiplayer with Photon, and the other instructors who helped me in their office hours. It has been a blast, you guys. Thank you very much.
Amazing. What a lovely way to start. Round of applause. That was awesome. So you worked with, you continued to work on your project during office hours as well, right?
Sure.
Lovely.
Certainly. Definitely.
Brilliant.
I actually had a second project going on during the whole time as well that I had started earlier in the year. at work. That was, there's no footage of it, but I had a couple of different projects going on, and the folks at Circuit Stream have been very helpful during office hours. So I really like that feature.
Amazing, amazing. Awesome. So let's get one or two questions from the audience, and then we'll invite Ozzy up on stage. While everybody's thinking of a question, I'll just get some comments up here. So Dustin was saying, props, networking is not easy to do. Photon is a great way to start.
Yeah, Cash was an amazing help.
Cash is awesome.
Yep.
And then we have claps from Keith. Lovely. So I'm just going to invite Ozzy up on stage, and if anybody has a question from the audience, I can read that afterwards. Hey, Ozzy, welcome.
Hey, how are you all doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you. Brian, that looks frigging amazing. So props on that. And the networking seems to be working very smoothly. And the voice communication, this is not easy stuff to do for sure. So bravo on that front.
I was surprised dissonance really wasn't that hard to get set up. And I used Salsa for the lip sync, and that was very easy to set up. I was really surprised. The networking was really the tough part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that takes a lot of coding for sure, but very good, inspirational that you were able to create this. In terms of thoughts, I'm quite impressed with the whole system you've set up. That seems very intuitive and good UX kind of thing going on. I was wondering if you'd consider anything like a improv drama club feature in there as well. I think that would be a really interesting addition.
Absolutely. That would make it easier, right? You don't have to worry about the script.
Yeah, potentially. I remember I actually took drama. I was the villain in all the school plays. But one of the games that they used to play was called Typewriter. So one person, I don't know if you know that one, but for anyone who doesn't, it was one person gets to type out the story a little bit. So they were like, oh, and then this dragon flies out of nowhere, and one of the people jumps in and pretends to be the dragon. It's like, but the dragon is met with this challenging knight, but who's scared of the dragon, and another person jumps in pretending.
And it's all improv, like somebody writing it, the other person doing it. That's super cool.
So I
think it would work.
Yeah.
Oh, Dustin's saying, give us an evil laugh, Ozzy.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see. The one of the ones there.
Oh my gosh, that's it, Ozzy. You can never teach another class without doing that evil laugh. There will be no going back from that. That's lovely.
But yeah, it looks great. I think the only thing would be perhaps reducing the number of UI elements. There's a technique and I'm curious as to whether or not you've used this. When you were using UI elements in VR, were you using world space canvases?
Yeah.
Right. So
I initially, when in the beginning they were screen space, and then when we moved it to XR, moved it into world space, yeah. the script UI, and then more of the scoreboard UI came later, but that started off in world space as well.
Right. And are you using graphic raycasting for the user to select the item, or are you using box collider?
Graphic raycasting.
Very cool. Okay, so this might be a little bit trickier to transition to, but as a side note for everyone, canvases, especially moving canvases in VR, are a little intensive when it comes to performance on your application. So what I would suggest as an edit for that to improve performance would be to create a canvas in camera space, way out of your miles away in your scene, and have a separate camera that looks at that canvas. And what you do then is have a regular plane that has a render texture on it showing what that camera sees. And that regular plane, as that moves around in your scene, no problem. And this would provide you a nice increase in your frame rate, because moving canvases, world space canvases in VR, that's probably one of the most expensive things that's going to cause a performance lag in your application. So,
very good. Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
the
you're welcome.
idea.
Thank you. Yeah, no worries. But great app. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congrats, Brian. We do have a question from Keith. Maybe we can take just like 30 seconds to answer it and elaborate more on the chat. Keith is asking, what was your inspiration for the project?
Well, remote training is the simple answer. So any kind of interaction that would require a script, so I can envision, a trainer in LA and a trainer in New York delivering new hire training to a new hire in Texas, a new hire in North Dakota, or anywhere around the world for that matter. So I thought a play would be a good mechanism for developing it, and it's just a matter of switching out the environment and switching out the script.
Lovely. That's awesome. Spencer was asking, is this being recorded for review later? Yes, Spencer, absolutely. Well, another round of applause for Brian. This is awesome. I definitely want to try it out. Maybe we can do it for coffee hour one time, and then
Absolutely.
Anybody who's in the audience can try it out.
I look forward to it. I think that would be great.
Amazing. All right, I'm going to take you and Ozzy off of the stage, but see you in the chat. Lovely. So now we have, let's get my presentation back here. Now we have Jack Morgan, Film Explorer, a demo for an AR Film Explorer application that allows users to search San Francisco films by title, location, and actors to see Google Map images and AR markers. You can see Jack's LinkedIn and email here, as well as some of the instructors that he worked with in the course. So let's get Jack up here. Hey, Jack.
Hey, everyone.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Nice. We'll play your video first, and then you'll give us the background, yeah?
Yeah, sounds great.
Lovely.
Search SF Films by location, title, or actor. Select Film button from list. Check out selected film locations and click Start Tour. Use Google Maps images to find our markers and explore.
Cool, yeah, so that was my application called SF Film Explorer. Special shout out to Nikisa and Cash for helping me with this process. It was a very difficult process to get all of these APIs to work. I ended up using like 4 or 5 different APIs to kind of put this whole application together. Got the original data from like the SF city API called Open Data. That allowed me to find all the different film locations and actors and titles, and then combined that with Google Search APIs and Google Maps image APIs, along with AR GPS to create the AR markers. I actually worked on this project for about 4 months. It was a very long and extended process that Nikisa helped me out because she was my one-on-one mentor throughout both the scripting course, dev course, and design course. And also Tyrell helped me out with some of the UI work as well. So it was a really fun project. I've been kind of wanting to work on a project like this even since I was in college back in like 2012, because I went to USC and there were so many different films filmed in the USC location. And I wanted to be able to explore the films around me. And so I kind of took this opportunity to use this course to explore that idea. I really would have loved to turn it into an actual consumer-facing app. However, the data itself wasn't fully there in terms of like all the scene locations and things. And so I kind of used it more of as a proof of concept to kind of get my next job, which ended up working out great for me because I got hired at a metaverse company like literally the last week of my program here at Circuit
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a senior product manager now at a company called MVU. If you guys are interested in social avatar chat and gaming and cryptocurrencies and NFTs, we have a whole platform with about 7 million active subscribers that love to show you. And if you're interested in working for us, we're hiring like crazy right now. So just definitely let me know. And I can get you set up with recruiters and things like that. So yeah.
Whoa, look at that. A demo and a job opportunity.
Yeah, we're hiring a lot. So we got back end, front end, 3D engineers. We're looking for talent as much as possible. So.
What's the website so people can look it up and I can type it in?
It's mbu.com and then careers. Also, I might have to look it up afterwards. But
How do you spell it?
IMVU.
Gotcha. Okay, .com.
Yeah, so that's the product. The company is actually called Together Labs. We just recently, IMVU. Sorry, not BU. Sorry, B.
Maybe you can write it and then.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to. Together Labs.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome.
So yeah, things are going great. I just finished my first 30 days there, and everything is really cool. The background in 3D animation and Unity has really helped. We use Unreal and our own custom engine for our avatar chat, so it's not exactly, I couldn't take all of my lessons, but a lot of it definitely really helped me understand, the back-end systems and functionality that we're currently using on our platform.
Amazing. So you took X-ray dev and design, right? And so what did you feel like played a part in maybe your interview process?
So one, like showing off the app that I had the development and design kind of background and being able to communicate with all the different engineers and understanding, why tech debt is so important and why like restructuring your code is really important, and making sure you have a really consistent and stable application that, that you can continue to go forward in. Understanding the design principles and also just the 3D engine principles in terms of like textures and 3D animations and graphics and things like that really helped me be able to communicate both to the engineering side of the company and the design side of the company. And the product team also felt like I had a really good grasp of the metaverse because of that background. And so it really helped me in the interview process and also in my job. Kind of making sure that I had a full understanding of the products and all the different aspects that go into, a company like Together Labs. So
amazing. That's awesome. I love those stories. So maybe we can get the audience questions in the chat, and then that way we can have more time for Ozzy's feedback. Let me bring him up here. I think you're muted, Ozzy.
Hey, Jack, very nice to meet you. That is an awesome success story. I'm very glad that CircuitStream could help you in any way there. And your app idea, very beautiful to see in action. And in terms of the recognition, what could you explain that a little bit? So what did you use for it recognizing the environment?
So basically, I got all of the exact like locations from open data. Basically, that told me like the street locations, and then passed that information into Google search so that we could get longitude, latitude for all the different AR markers, and then pass the longitude, latitude into the AR GPS APIs to create the AR markers. So basically, within AR GPS, they have like different settings in terms of like plane recognition or ground height or relative height. And so I used ground height basically to recognize where the ground was, especially in San Francisco. We're in a very hilly environment, making sure that it recognized where exactly you were, and the plane to kind of then leverage the AR marker from there. It took a lot of testing and trial and error to get the canvases to be the right size and to make sure that the world space canvases like showed up correctly on the phone. And so that kind of took the longest, and also making sure that I found the AR markers. That's why I kind of added those Google Maps images, because finding the exact point where the AR markers was actually a little bit more difficult than originally anticipated, because the longitude latitude could be in a wide spot.
10-meter,
Yeah,
radius.
exactly.
Well done. That is a very impressive app coming out, man. I'm even struggling to think of what feedback I can give you at this point. But I do have one. So an app idea like that is incredible, and I think it's something you could market instead to the actual companies themselves, and then they eventually, you build a popular enough engine there, and then suddenly it's like, oh, put me on your app. Oh, put me on your app. I want my restaurant listed there. And so it starts becoming that future vision of what Magic Leap had.
Yeah.
So, that kind of thing definitely requires a lot of funding to get going, but
yeah, so that was kind of the revenue side that I wanted to enable down the line, so like certain places that were filmed in movies, like let's say a restaurant was used, you could do like deals and associations with that restaurant that get triggered by the application. And so you could, have, revenue generating businesses based on, the films and the things that were associated with those films. And so you could have a whole kind of City Explorer kind of application through using Film Explorer. But because of the lack of information about the scene information and the exact, actual, all the full actors is what was the limiting factor. So it had to definitely get a lot of funding to kind of do the additional mapping for all the different movies and TV, so that we knew all the different scenes and locations that were actually used. So definitely would be really cool. And I think the next step in this application would be to go directly to film houses that have more of this information in terms of like scene location and full actor lists. So I think that was going to be the next step, but would definitely require a decent amount of legwork in terms of research and development. So.
It's definitely one of those things that I feel is very easy to pitch to all the VCs who are trying to get into the metaverse space and all that. But it's amazing idea. And one other thing I just imagined right now would be, you go to some locations, and then when you look around, maybe you see the ability to see ancient or older buildings overlaid on that. And I don't even know, that's a very impressive application of bringing in together like 3 totally separate external SDKs into Unity. So very impressed. Well done, Jack.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the other thing that I wanted to do was add like face filters, so you could actually become characters in the scenes and recreate some of the scenes.
Oh, very cool.
That was the next step, but I didn't have the chops to really get that completely.
Oh, that's easy in comparison to what you did.
I ran out of time. Let's be completely honest.
That's a more reasonable answer to that. How large was the file size for this app?
Oh, that is a great question. I haven't looked at it in a while, because I right after I finished it, my Google API credentials expired, and so I couldn't go back and fix it. But I can look that up and post that later for sure.
Cool. Yeah, very interested in seeing how much space mixing those 3 APIs together would take. But yeah, well done, Jack. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Before we, go
congrats
ahead,
for the position.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I was sad not to continue my work on it, but maybe somewhere down the line, when the data is improved, it could be even for a cool application to come back to.
All the best then.
Thank you.
If you decide to take that forward, Jack, I have 3 people you could talk with. I don't know if I told you this already, but there's Doug Vitarelli. He took the accelerator course with us. He did a very similar app, but it was in New York, and it was an AR app. And when you it was a way to see historical buildings. So
Okay.
in the place of a Starbucks, like there was like a theater there or something. And then Andrew Algeretti, also an alum, he works at Cine Concerts. So he might, I wonder if he has contact to any of the movies that you show in your app. So maybe some good connections can happen there. And then last but not least, we have connection with Spatial Ape and Jesse, who's there. He has a funding program, and he sometimes invites some of our students to pitch to investors.
Oh
there.
wow,
So,
yeah, definitely be interested down the line for sure doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sucked into this job right now, but
yeah, whenever, if ever,
if I ever
just
want
let
to
us
bring
know.
this back, I'm definitely keeping that in mind for sure.
Okay. Sounds awesome. Well, congrats again. This is so cool. And yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So next we have Nick. Nick. I don't know how am I going to attempt to say your last name here? Nick Noejovich. You're going to have to correct me. Nick did a Starship simulator. It's a basis for a multiplayer Starship dogfighting game that aims to feel as realistic as possible. So we have Nick's contact info there, some of those instructors. Nick, are you ready to rumble? Yeah, awesome, perfect. Let's get you up on stage.
Okay, so hi, I'm Nick Noejovich. That's how you pronounce it.
Okay, thanks.
And I'm based out of St. Petersburg, Florida. My background is in software engineering and psychology, and I took the course because I wanted to dedicate my career to virtual reality. I've kind of been in love with VR ever since I was a kid, but this has been my first chance to actually work with it. I've always been interested in designing experiences for people, whether it's bringing a real life experience to someone who otherwise wouldn't be able to have it, or sending someone on a fantastic adventure they'd never be able to have in real life. The kind of experiences that satisfy the same craving that might motivate you to pick up a book. Only here I'm able to take the immersion to a whole new level. So as that suggests, I am big on game design, but I'm also interested in being part of applying VR to different real world applications. And where I live, we have a lot of theme parks. We got a lot of Air Force and NASA presence. So I figured a flight simulator would be a great way to break into the industry, and one that I could put my own creative spin on. And what I'm presenting today is like the bare bones of it. I wanted to get it like working as realistically and as well as possible before adding stuff like I think I talk about it in the video, some of the stuff I'm planning to add down the line.
Awesome. And you took the XR Dev
course, yeah.
Right? Perfect. All right, shall we run your video?
Yep.
Awesome. So here is Nick. Can you say your last name again?
Noejovich.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep practicing. All right. Here's Starship Simulator.
Hi, I'm Nick Noejovich, and my project is a Starship simulator. My goal was to create the basis for a multiplayer starfighter game where you can fly around in space or on different planets, customize your ship's look, weapons, and capabilities, and play against your friends. I was aiming to make the experience as realistic as possible, and I'm pretty satisfied with how it came out. I got almost all of these assets from the Unity Assets store. So you got a really cool spaceship, planet Earth in the background. I programmed the throttle and joystick to work just like they would in a real cockpit, and I made all these asteroids that I can fly around and destroy with lasers, since I don't have any other players to shoot yet. I would definitely say the joystick control was the hardest part to get right, since I'd never used the type of joint I needed before. So I'll go ahead and play it for a little bit, show you guys how it looks and feels, and then I'll talk a little bit more about future steps I think I'll take. So I definitely was aiming to make it feel as realistic as possible. Like, I definitely wanted you to feel like you're flying through space in an actual ship, and I'm really satisfied with how it came out. think being in this simulation is amazing. A lot of asteroids to destroy. And I love how like I'm able to maneuver between them, even though they look like they're so close. So, I think my next steps are probably going to be to get sound effects and animations for when the asteroids get blown up, and then I'll start working on multiplayer capability. After that, I'll keep adding different customization options as I think of them. And finally, I happen to have a friend who recently finished designing a new type of flight simulator that's small enough to fit in your home. So I'm planning to make the game work with the simulator so you can play from home with friends anywhere in the world and really feel like you're flying in space. So in case it's not clear, one thing I definitely don't have a background in is video editing and presentations. But
All good. We got the essence of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I did my best to get the important parts down.
No, for sure. And that's so cool that your friend has a flight simulator. I think the matching those two are going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get it all put together and see where it goes.
Cool. Do you have anything else you want to say, or shall we bring Ozzy up on stage?
Bring Ozzy.
All right, Ozzy, you are being called.
Hey, Nick, were you the one I helped during office hours?
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that is a great looking sim. I gotta say, I am actually quite excited to get my hands on that once it's done. It reminds me a little bit about Elite Dangerous kind of controls there. So well done on that front. I'm wondering, do you have a thruster with the second hand?
So the throttle on the right hand side, it was I guess I didn't demonstrate how it directly controls the speed. So you push it all the way forward, you'll go to max speed. You pull it back a little, you'll slow down. Pull it back all the way, and you'll stop in place. So it's directly has direct control over how fast you're going.
Very cool. Do you have any sort of velocity limiting controls, or in terms of the movement? Is it physics based? Can you go as fast as you want over time because you're using forces, or are you setting velocities?
I'm currently setting the velocity, and the reason I thought about that when I designed it that way, because one of the things I want to do is make it so I really like games where you get to like customize your gameplay experience. So I figure I'll do like different kinds of ships and like what stats that you can customize, so that some ships will go faster than others, and some will maneuver better, some will have different weapons. So I wanted to make it so that was a variable that I could change later on.
Okay, that's great. Did you plan to have pirates or anything in there for AI to fight?
I've thought about that. I've thought about doing like a single player campaign further down. I knew I wanted to get I know that'd probably be easier than doing the multiplayer. Everyone keeps telling me that multiplayer is really hard, but I really, that's the part I really want to get going first, just so that I can like pair it up with this other product and be like, here's this game, you can play it at home, you can play it on this simulator. And the other thing that's really good about that is that'll give me users, and users provide, they help you find all the bugs in games just all the time.
Right.
Which, it's valuable information.
Right. Now, have you ever heard of the term asynchronous multiplayer? Or
no.
Asynchronous local multiplayer? Okay. So one of the ones that you can use in VR would be, for example, there's this game called Exodus. And you can do local multiplayer in sorry, not asynchronous. I meant to say asymmetrical. Have you heard of that one before?
Nope.
Okay, so as a quick example, could be locally if one person has a VR headset, they could be playing the game with the controllers like you are, and a second player could be on the computer playing along with that user in some way. So you would have two players locally playing playing asymmetrically. There is this game I really enjoyed called Exodus, where the person in VR is this giant robot, and the people who are playing on the control with them on the same machine, they get controllers hooked up and they play these tiny robots, and the giant robots trying to find out which robots in this robot factory is a player and tries to burn them. But I'm wondering, when I saw the last one was a driving sim where the person in the computer seat was basically doing an exam kind of thing. But I'm wondering if you can have a local multiplayer ship where different parts are controlled by different players, or if that's an idea you've considered for online multiplayer as well. In terms of asynchronous multiplayer, if you wanted something in the interim, could be to have multiple ships or have multiplayer, but you're battling their ship in AI mode. So you're battling a ship that they own, that they've customized, and it has their stats, but you battle it against an AI. In terms of some AI resources, MIT did a great paper on projectile motion.
Oh.
And I'll have to try and figure that out, but I'll try to find that out. But one of the things with that is that paper allows an AI to judge where your ship is going to be when they shoot. It's a bit of a complex thing, but it's a really cool thing to implement with potential AI options you've implemented. Now, AI in the future that you could implement. In terms of the multiplayer options, did you think about using Photon or?
Yeah. So funniest thing is I only just found out Photon exists when when demo day started and you guys started talking about it. But now that I know it exists, I'm like, yeah, one of the first things I'm going to do when all this is over is go look that up and see how that works, because
Right on.
that's going to be the next step for me. The asymmetrical multiplayer, I hadn't thought of it before, but it is a really cool idea. Like I'm probably going to have like a big brainstorming session where I think of like all the different things that would be cool to add.
Right. And then really immersive environment. Thank you, Dustin. And there is this other one where it's still online multiplayer, but some people play with their cell phones against. So the one is called Acorn, and there's this giant tree, and there's 4 players who are on their cell phones pretending to be squirrels running up against a tree. I only mention that because there's a lot of cool concepts you can implement in a space sim that hasn't really been taken advantage of yet with VR. But your game looks great. I am thinking about ways for optimization, but it's quite early stages. Are you using the universal render pipeline?
Yeah.
And you're making an Oculus Quest game, or?
Yeah, I've currently got it working on the Quest 2. I'd have to read the documentation for the simulator again, but it should work. Once I've programmed it for the simulator, it should work for any headset.
That is great. I'm going to just show you a nice little link on that front. There was this great video on optimizing for the Oculus Quest. Keep in mind, you do not need to implement all of the optimization techniques. I just want you to get ahead of it before you
always better earlier than later.
Yeah, exactly. The art style you've chosen doesn't seem too intense, so I think that's totally feasible for sure. I'm just gonna drop a link. Can you see the private chat?
Yep.
Okay. So there is a link there. I don't have the ability to post comments right now, but if anyone can
I can share.
So that's a great YouTube video on that. So you can implement some of the features there so that you can get some optimization ahead of time, because I
Perfect.
think a lot of those techniques can be useful for you.
Thank you. And you also mentioned the art style. Is there like a way I could, is there like a way I could look at like different options for that?
Yeah. So in terms of the ship you have now, where did you get that from?
No, Unity Asset Store.
Unity Asset Store. Okay. So definitely, if you're working with an asset store, you probably don't have as much freedom as you'd like. But when it comes to the Oculus Quest, a lot of the users are already expecting low poly kind of graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get away with high poly graphics if you're using something like Google Surat, which the Vader Immortal team, that's what they were using to optimize. But that's a very static experience. You're not walking around or anything
Right.
really, or not flying around really in that one too much. So in terms of the graphics, some things that I find look better in the Oculus Quest are more matte materials. You may want to look at texture atlasing in terms of the 3D models, something maybe less, something lower poly, just because it'll start to become a bit much when you have multiple ships flying around. I don't know if you plan to just have 1v1 battles, but if you do plan to have a lot of ships and get that whole galactic wars thing going on, just keep that in mind. And so that's probably one of the biggest things to prepare for going forward. Maybe if you can find a low poly outer space pack, you can find things outside of the asset store for this as well. So some things to think about, but it's looking great. It looks very smooth, and I wish you the best for that going forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. Congrats, Nick, and thanks,
Thanks.
Ozzy, for the feedback. Lots of great valuable information there. I feel like it's becoming like some mini office hours. I'm loving it. That's good feedback. And again, to be continued in Ozzy's office hours to anyone who wants to attend. All right. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Ozzy. Let's keep this train going. Next, we have Leen AL-Ahmad, Ariad's Comic Library. It's a demo for a comic book library where readers can read their comic in a new creative way. So Leen couldn't be here today, but I'm going to be sharing her video as well as a little bio, so a little explanation that she came up with. So let's go to the video first, and then we'll go to the bio. So Leen worked with Nikisa and Levester at Circus Train. All right, so make sure I have the right video here. Let's see if it's, no, a second.
Hello, my name is Leen,
There
and
we go.
today I'll be talking about my comic library demo. I have two main scenes, the home scene library and the slideshow scene. As for the home scene, unfortunately not all of the buttons are active for the demo, but for the slideshow scene, I have both of the hands working as next and previous for the slideshow. Just by sweeping the hand to the right, you would go next, and sweeping it to the left, you would go to previous. And now I'll be leaving you guys to watch the demo video.
Wow, that was super cool. Round of applause to Leen so she can see this later. Very cool. I'm going to share my screen just to see her explanation here. Alrighty, so she put together a great document. I'm going to be sharing this on Slack later for everyone to check out. But what I'd like to read today is just this little brief explanation. My name is Leen Kanani, and I'm a digital artist. I took the XR and C# courses to upgrade from the 2D to a 3D field. My project was inspired from a friend of mine, Usman Mir, comic book artist. I thought since virtual reality is a growing field, there must be a place for readers in it. I chose comic books specifically because it is more visual than an ordinary book, which makes it more flexible to add sound and movement to. That was super awesome, by the way. The most difficult part was scripting the slideshow and transitions. I wanted to add more buttons to help save the favorites or save the last page a reader reached to, but that definitely needed a registration to a database. In this project, I have done some of the prefabs on Blender, and I have grabbed the rest from the Unity assets. It was an extraordinary experience to create a whole virtual world from zero, and I'm really looking forward to expand in XR development in video games generally. Thanks for being part of my journey. Thank you, Leen. This was so awesome. I know you're not here, but I'm still going to invite Ozzy to give you some feedback if you'd like to check this out later on.
Wow, that was very beautiful, I must say. I'm wondering if they have actually implemented sound-based, reactions in that on those graphics that they were having, all the flashing that was going on in the background. If not, here's a great tutorial on implementing that kind of thing. I think it would be really cool if you can post that in the comments too. But I think that'd be a really cool addition to what's going on, and that would be just having the mesh or the colors of the environment alter and change based on the music in the background or even the footsteps. Really cool concept. You can even create a shader that shakes based on the input. I remember creating a beating heart for one of our students, but looks great. Again, I'm just wondering about what they're using for all the images, if they're using canvases or not. If you'd like, I can quickly share my screen and show how to optimize it. Let's take a look here. Okay, because that seems to be a common thing. Let me share my screen.
Let me know if you're... You should be able... Oh, there we go. Okay, let me...
Yeah, so
there we go.
That does it there. So I'm just going to create a new scene for now. And I really bring this up just because of VR in particular. So what people are often using is a UI element that, let's just say, for example, is a raw image or whatnot. And so whether it's a button or whatnot, there you go. So we have our UI element, and oftentimes people will just set its render mode to to world space so that they can move it around in their scene. But unfortunately, canvases moving around in VR is quite taxing on your system and may cause some lag. So as a way to improve your frame rate, what you could do, and let me just make this in this scenario, this UI element a little bit bigger. Just gonna do that, and let's see if I have any images to put on there. I will use this little heart icon. There we go. So there it is. There's my UI image. Not particularly important here, but okay. But anyways, there's my heart, and I want it moving around in Unity or just in my scene. Now, instead, what you could do is, for example, take this canvas and change it from world space to screen space camera. It's a screen space camera canvas. I'm just gonna, oh, there we go. So I'm gonna do that first. I'm gonna create a additional camera in my scene. And what I'll do with this camera is I will have the canvas here that I just created be referenced as the render camera, like so, boom. So now this camera here is showing that particular UI element fully. That's what the only purpose of this camera will be, but I don't want to see the skybox in the background, so I would typically change the background type from skybox to solid color, and the solid color can have 0 alpha and whatnot. I'm remembering that correctly. And then basically this particular canvas, you don't want it to see anything besides this canvas. So perhaps the layer you want to just set up to be the UI layer and not include anything else. But there you go. So that's the idea with our canvas. Now what we do is create a quad or a plane, something like that. And this quad here, what it's going to do is receive a material that shows what that camera is seeing. So I would create in my project folder somewhere a render texture for my UI cam, and I would create a material as well that will take in that texture. So now material, my render texture, it's just going to be put under the base map. Great. Then my actual camera that is showing this UI element, I will just take the output texture and make that my render texture. This might be a little bit hard to follow as we go, but that's the idea. So now I can see my main camera here. This would be my VR camera in my game window. But this other camera that is outputting to a render texture should not see anything in the scene, is the idea. And then this material that I've created, I can apply to this particular canvas. And then I think I'll just make this a transparent canvas as well. So now all I see is my nice little plane that I can freely move around, and that causes very little lag or anything like that. And it may behoove us to actually make this, instead of a lit or standard material, we can make it unlit. I'm using URP, so I'm just going to make that a unlit material like so. And there we go. So we have a nice movable UI element that causes little to no lag in comparison.
Very cool.
A interesting optimization technique you can definitely check out in the recording. But
amazing. So what a treat. Some extra expertise from a lovely Aussie. Thanks, Aussie.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I hope that helps. The experience is beautiful. Maybe add in the audio simulation and the optimization technique there, and you should be good to go. Can you click, Brian does ask, can you click buttons on the UI through this setup? You cannot. So oftentimes what's used is box colliders with ray casting, or basically translating where on the canvas, where on this plane you've touched, translating that position to the position of the canvas, and then doing a click through that. So a couple different ways to do it for sure. More if you come up with some more, but this is just substantially more efficient. I remember when I did an improvement on my VR Quest experience, I literally improved my frame rate by, I think, maybe 20 to 30 frames frames a second. It was a ridiculous improvement. So just something to keep in mind. Although I was using, on my controllers, I had canvases that were acting like loading bars. So moving those, making those planes was just really nice improvement. But it'll vary. Okay, well that's all I can think of for that one.
Sounds great. Just a quick comment from Dustin. So, Dustin, one idea is this could be made into reusable Unity assets sold to others for creating immersive VR visual novels. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like
For sure.
Nanny novel.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks, Ozzy.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you, Leen. Next, last but definitely not least, we have Michael Simpsonelli, Artist Portfolio VR, an interactive multimedia artist portfolio. Michael worked with Aletha, Tyrell, and Indica. And Michael, I believe you did XR Dev and Design, right?
That's right. Yeah, I actually did the dev course with Ozzy. And Ozzy, you make it look so easy, man. It's all just smooth.
It does, right? It's like, oh, you just go here, and then this magic happens.
Yeah. I learned a lot from that guy. That's for sure. Thanks, Lizzie. My name's Michael. Blown away by all the other projects that I saw today. There was a lot of really amazing stuff. It's one thing I love about XR is just it's infinite possibilities. Whatever you can think you can make. You know. I'm an aspiring XR designer and definitely rookie developer. I took the C# course and the development course, and I just finished the design course, and all of them were awesome. Everybody I worked with there was great. I'm a professional musician of 20 plus years, based in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I'm a composer, sound designer, a session musician. I play drums and guitar and keys and a whole bunch of different instruments. I'm also a producer, an engineer, and a music educator. And I'm a co-owner at a Vancouver recording studio where I do production work for various clients. I've composed music for a variety of films over the years. And in 2015, I got asked by a Vancouver VR film agency to compose some music for a film that they had shot of the Northern Lights, which was actually an interesting gig because they gave me a Samsung Gear headset to wear, and the client wanted me to play a Pink Floyd kind of style guitar solo as I was watching the Northern Lights. So I had to pick a position on the guitar and shred with the headset on. So that was an interesting experience. And shortly after that experience, the director, because that was a stereo mix that I had recorded for them, and the director suggested that I get into ambisonic audio, aka spatial audio or immersive audio, to create more immersion in the future when working on VR films. So I ended up getting myself a 360 camera because I wanted to create more content for myself to create 360 audio mixes too. So I learned how to make VR films, and then the next thing that I became interested in was to be able to make those. I was making kind of VR music videos with audio that is head tracked, so you could certain sounds would happen in the mix that would direct you to where they were happening and stuff like that. But next thing that I wanted to do was create interactivity inside the videos, and that's where I became interested in Unity. And that's why I ended up finding CircuitStream, I think through an internet search, and it was one of the best things that I could have done. I thought that I'd make myself an artist portfolio because I do the video, and I love taking photographs, and I always post them on Instagram or Flickr. But I thought it would be, I know it's not the first time someone's done it, but it would be cool to see my stuff in a VR gallery instead of staring at it on a flat screen. I put that with some audio installation and some 360 video, like you'll see in the video that I'm about to play here, that I kind of rant all over it, but you'll get the idea. I think this is kind of like the future of what a website could look like for an artist, or like a 3-dimensional portfolio that you could put online, that instead of staring at it, you go inside of it. I'm well connected in the arts and music scene in Canada, and I like the idea of being someone that could facilitate the entrance to the metaverse for a lot of the artists that I'm connected to.
Wow, that shit. Can we just pull that out? Michael Simpsonelli. I'd like to open the metaverse to artists everywhere. I love that.
Sure. Anyway, I'll stop yakking now, and you can hear me yap some more over top of my video if you hit play there, and then
sounds good.
We'll talk some more.
Looking forward to it. All right, so this is Michael Simpsonelli, Artist Portfolio VR.
So the experience starts off in this gallery here, with the idea being, I enjoy taking photographs, and I always post them on Instagram, and you're always looking at them on a flat screen, and like I'm usually on a small screen too, a mobile device. So the idea of being able to experience one's art or photographs or whatever it might be, even though they're 2D, putting them into a 3D environment. There's that sign there was the credits for the people who made the gallery here and all the 3D assets that I got, and plus my own credits. And out here there's an ambisonic audio installation. So each one of these speakers has a different audio source. They're all stems from the same composition, and as you walk around the space, you can hear the spatial audio experience. And this here is a collection of some VR 360 films that I've made, and as you click into each sphere, you can experience the video. Some problems with this part here, trying to figure out how to make ambisonic audio function correctly with the 360 video inside of Unity. I'm still working on that one. Unfortunately, because the focus of the courses that I took with Circuit Stream were not audio intensive, so I've been more so learning how to build the apps. But now I feel like I will start being able to dig more into the audio, and that part's going to be a bit hopefully easier than a lot of the other stuff was. This is another 360 video that I made. And when you go into the cinema here, this is where my 2D video is showcased. Eventually on this screen here, I want to be able to have it so you can click a different button and you can scroll through different videos, whatever video you'd like to watch. But this is one video that I made for a surf rock composition of mine. And yeah, the idea of being able to have a video experience inside of a 3D environment, like a 2D video experience, is pretty cool. I mean, the dream would be to be able to have, avatars of your friends be able to come and hang out in the theater here as well. And all of these pieces of art, like the photos, the videos, the dream would be that if an artist had a VR portfolio like this one, that you could click on the ones that you wanted to buy and you could purchase them via NFTs or something like that.
Very, very cool. I feel like...
Hey, fun fact, I also made the leather masks in the video. I'm also a leather craftsman. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You all just blow me away. I'm just speechless after all of that. Artists all over the world are going, this is so cool. Awesome. I also, before bringing Ozzy up on stage, and if you have any other thoughts, I just thought of a couple people that maybe you'd like to connect to. Do you know Daryl Augustine?
I do, yeah.
Okay,
He's
perfect.
Actually lives not that far from me here in Vancouver.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've chatted a few times, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Daryl did a 360 video and also lives in Vancouver. And then there's also Andy Grobengieser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you know Andy. Okay.
You made the VR marimba thing. I checked that out.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Cool. And then there are a couple of maybe Ozzy can speak more to this, but 3D websites that have some. There's like web VR. I don't know much, but maybe Ozzy can comment more on that. And then Martin Schott was also a student of ours. He did a gallery, kind of like a VR gallery.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. Like I saw some similarities. Andrew, as I mentioned before, with Center Concerts, and then a current student, Diana, she has some spaces in Spatial that are sort of gallery oriented as well. And she hosts some artists there from time to time.
Cool.
So just some parallels there. All right, let's bring Ozzy up on stage for some valuable feedback.
That was so cool, Michael. God
Thanks,
damn. I love music too, so that really hit home a little bit with me as well. But that's beautiful, and I think 100% that is prime candidate for something that should be web VR. Obviously, you can get WebXR in there. So I just dropped a couple links in the private chat. If those can be posted in the comments as well. One is a video talking about web AR, but it led to another. It led me to a GitHub that shows how to do WebXR with a great sample in there as well. So I think what you're trying to do, beautiful use case for this kind of thing. So definitely check that out.
I
So
will.
you can, just try to get the sample working, and then it's simple as drag and drop your gallery into there.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's really nice. I love the museum, the asset that you have there as well.
That's a nice one.
I've used that myself as well as another student, so it's nice to see that a lot of people do like that one. But that is it's a really nice idea. I think an AR version of it is also a potential, has a lot of potential as well. If it's, I'm thinking one of the ones I can show you here, but another one, you could potentially design a lot of shader and particle effects in your environment as part of your art. If you're going to take this medium where you're doing things in VR or AR and you're going to display your 2D art, you could make some 3D visual effects as arts as well.
Totally.
So definitely come to one of the office hours. I'll show you how to start working on shaders or VFX Graph. Maybe not VFX Graph because that doesn't actually work on Android systems like the Quest, but definitely particle effects in general or anything like that. Now I feel the need to show off my particle effect and shader effects room so that you can see what I'm talking about. But man, excited. Really wanted to look at that on the web. I think that's just such a perfect example of where web VR can be used. But can you see those links I've posted just to make sure?
Yeah, I got the one that's the web AR marker.
So there's two in that one message, I think.
Oh, are there? Okay.
Yeah. Let me post those separately just to make this a bit easier here.
Yeah, and also the YouTube chat. I'll just post in our private chat. You can see the two links.
There's one link, and then there is the other. So some great things to check out. One's talking about how to set it up in AR, and then the actual GitHub project can do it in VR. So much effort went into this project. Oh yeah. With so much background experience. Wow. Yeah, man. This is really cool to see someone taking their expertise into this application.
Yeah, into like a whole new area for me too. Like starting out with the C# and all that stuff. You know, I had no idea what I was doing. So you guys really helped me with that for sure.
Well, we're not done helping you.
No,
Office hours are,
I'll be around. I'll be around.
Yeah. Just as anyone else who's part of Circuit Stream here, office hours are free for you to attend as an alum indefinitely. So definitely take advantage of that.
And see, to all those students out there who are struggling now with C#, there is hope. Okay, you'll get there.
I remember Cash said to me, he said it sort of requires having a project that you're really excited about. You know, and this was one for me. I was like, oh, I really want to make this happen. So I just dove into it, you know, with the knowledge that I had got from my studies. And yeah.
Well, I'm so what is the word here? I'm so proud and glad that I could be of any help to you in making this. That's very impressive. And in an effort to transition into me showing my project and showing you what I was talking about, I'll just share my screen and
Okay.
show off the shader rooms and what kind of things you can make happen with that.
Oh, cool. This was your project that you're going to show, right, Ozzy?
So this is actually my effects room. It's my
Mm.
little test gallery of all the
Okay.
effects I work on. But I would
You're bringing
definitely
it up.
go into that. Okay, you can see my screen all right now?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, so here we're looking at effects. So I'm just going to hit play so that all of the effects are active. So this one is beating to audio. So I definitely like that concept, the audio playing alongside some effect in Unity. So there's
Nice.
a nice shimmering effect. We got this thing that's like a portal effect, decimating well, not decimating, but exploding out a mesh. Nice 2D or a nice outline, a little black with white glow, 2D. You already know how to do the 360 sphere, so I won't bother with that. Some moving textures that have scene depth calculation, so you can see where it's intercepting part of the environment. Snow, glowing, flubber, cross-fading effects between two images. So maybe you want to do an effect like that.
Yeah.
Nice color moving texture, breaking apart and reconstruction kind of effect. And this is one of my favorites here. So you have particles going, and then you can interact with these kinds of things a little bit. So you can have the color determined by the speed and get some unique effects with that. Some other particle effects like swarming, nice fire, stylized, anvil, all that good stuff. Cupid's arrow, shooting off. Some interactive shaders, so you can definitely have the mesh being altered and the color being altered by something the user is doing. Similar idea with the water. This is one of my favorites. There's a shader that gives the lightning effect, and then some particles that allow you to see some lightning that's running along the center of it, and then the glowing effect with the FX graph. So if you've ever played Halo, that's definitely a thing. And then a distortion effect, as well as something that kind of gets the black hole vibe going. Pixelated load. Anyways, the point is there's just so much you can do with this stuff. You got AR shadows and an X-ray effect that you can have some fun with.
Yeah.
Let me move that up and down. So procedurally generated terrain, all this kind of stuff. But
I'm gonna have to pick your brain about all this stuff for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Come to office hours and a little mix of distortion and noise and vertex manipulation.
My project's definitely a work in progress. Like there's so much you could add to it, right? Like
exactly. And so
those are some fantastic ideas there, though. That's inspiring.
Well, and then the dissolve wasn't there at the time I was showing around. As an XR dev student, I'm super encouraged at seeing all these projects today. Thanks for showing. Nice. I'm glad that's the case, Keith. But yeah, I gotta get you to one of those office hours, man. I'm super excited to help you out with this stuff.
Awesome.
Great.
I appreciate it.
No worries.
I think this is a great place to kind of wrap up the student projects. A huge round of applause to Michael and to everyone else. Congratulations. It's always so exciting to host Demo Day because, like you're saying, Michael, it's just the variety of projects and of concepts. It's also rich. So it's definitely a super fun part of my job. Amazing. So I will remove you guys. Any last thoughts, Michael?
Thank you guys all so much.
Our pleasure.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Very cool. All right. So after this, I think Kazi, you can stay on. Oh, because I think you're next. We are kind of running out of time, so maybe we'll just go over about 10 minutes.
I'll just play a short video then.
Sounds good. Okay. So you can let me remove this and then you can share your screen. Let me bring it back up there.
All right. You can see my screen still. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the idea I'm currently working on is a AR asynchronous multiplayer fighting game. So the idea is you all have your own little fighter, and you can train them and decide where you want to put stats, and you can give them and unlock certain moves as part of a move set, and then they start using the moves that you gave, and each move behaves uniquely and all that. So here's just the quick video of a demo. So it's really early, only gotten to spend a few hours on it. So this is kind of the base for it. You place down an AR ring, you hit fight, and then they start fighting each other. And they have stamina, which determines who's going to hit first. And so it's a lot of randomness going on. And then some special moves going on as well.
He went into the guitar.
Yeah. That's the idea.
That's so cool.
But that's as much as AR can do. So I'm probably scale them down a little bit potentially, but yeah. So that's roughly the idea, and you can take a look at the web that is my animator controller right now. I'm gonna try and clean that up, but that's what we're looking at for now. Going from an idle state, from stretching into one of the idle ones that the user will be able to choose. Let's say, oh, I want idle 1 as my character's default animation, or I'll use a blend tree potentially to blend between different idle transitions. And then when they're going to hit, they can randomly choose one of these. And then based on that, the defender is either dodging by jumping or ducking, or blocking by crouching or blocking upper body, and so forth. So nice little web going on with my animator controller. We'll try and work that out, but just giving blend trees a try with this, but not really the appropriate solution for this scenario, I think. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on with this project. The key thing there is you can send your fighter out to fight by themselves. So they're kind of like battle bots. They'll fight with their own AI. You don't get to have input at this point. I've done things like that before, but I was thinking about trying something different this time around. So you can just watch these fights going on, and they're pretty fun to see. All the randomness does mean that one person, either of them can win, and that's just.
It's like a coin toss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. You'll have to show us when it's as it develops. Let us know. Maybe we can schedule another like a show and tell session.
Yeah, sure. I'll show the progress as it goes. But there's just so many apps that I'm working on, and I thought that would be a unique augmented reality one to show off.
Very nice. Well, I want to thank Ozzy so much for. I won't speak in the third person. I'll thank you directly, Ozzy. Thank you, Ozzy.
You're always.
Yeah, for your just your participation, expertise. You're awesome as always. A really huge round of applause to Ozzy and to all of our students. If I go back here to my slides, bring that back up. We have a little yes. Vast, excited, chattering congratulations to you all. I'm just going to take a quick moment to wrap up. So any last words, Ozzy?
Dustin asked, I'd love to see some obnoxious moves. Oh, there are a plenty of those. So let me share quickly some examples here. Bring the inspector window over here so you can see this a little bit better. There's the animator there. And we've got the axe kick, which is one of my favorites. 3 of these are implemented. So there's the axe kick.
Oh, wow.
There is
that's like a dancer kick.
Eye lasers going. A foot bazooka. Let's see. Foot shotgun. Some of the more ridiculous ones. Let's see here. Knife throwing, mid kick straight. Just double check this one. Projectile, projectile. Projectile 5. Super punch was the one you saw earlier. Boom. Most ridiculous moves, but yeah, that's the idea. Definitely some more Hadouken kind of thing going on. But yeah, so
That's great.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ozzy. For the sake of time, I'm just going to wrap things up. Thank you so much.
Where's thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. All right, so just going to take a quick moment here. Let's bring back. Okay. So usually we have a prize draw, but we're going to be doing the prize offline and then posting the winners on Slack. So be sure to check it out there. So if you're not a student with us and you're interested in the courses, just wanted to quickly mention what they're kind of about. So we had the Extra Development with Unity course. Next cohort is on February 15th. So you learn to make AR and VR apps on Unity. And then we have the design course, February 7th. Same thing, except you're focusing on design experiences. So Extra Dev has coding. This one doesn't have coding, and both are beginner friendly. You can go to circuitstream.com/learning to download a syllabus or apply, or you just talk to one of our enrollment advisors just to get more info on the course. Or you can also connect with us on Slack. Definitely do join us on Slack. We can, continue chatting, and it'd be great. I'm going to post the link. Let me bring out the link so you can all see it. 1 second. And then we can continue to interact with each other. All right, I have it here. I'll make sure to post it. And that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Let me get some of the students up on here again, so we can just give them a round of applause. Yes, thank you, guys. Oh, where's Brian? I think Brian had to go. All right, thank you again. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Michael, Brian, Leen, and Jack. It's been wonderful. I hope you all have a great rest of your days. Bye.